Alright, I literally just released an entire theory on the Dragon and Tiger connector. I recommend that you watch that theory because in this chapter, nigh on everything that I said in that theory video ends up being confirmed in this chapter in the same week on the same day, because I scheduled for my theory video to release even though I had done it a lot earlier. And so this is actually quite surprising that the Tiger connector has already been confirmed. But if you want to know a lot more about the Tiger connector, because I already think that we have enough to deduce his character, you can always check out that video. It has a lot more other stuff as well that are going to be quite surprising, like the Koga portion of the theory. But let's focus on the review itself, because I have thoughts. Because it might seem like my timing is pretty good, or at least too good, but I'm actually lagging behind on the ideas that I've figured out. Because in my theory video, and one that I was planning to make, I really did think that the current connector Shen Wulong was a clone, but based on how old he probably was. And because it's too late to make that theory video because it's obvious, I'm going to explain why this current Shen Wulong is a clone based on his age. Now, we do know that he's slowed down his aging, so he looks a lot younger than what he actually is, but that still leaves the question of how old he actually is. And in terms of the actual clone Shen Wulong, the individual being that has two beings inside of him, that Shen Wulong, he's probably around the same age, if not slightly older than Gayo Mukaku. The evidence for this is because of Gayo Mukaku's father's betrayal. For that event to actually happen, Gayo Mukaku's father has to have evidence that cloning has already happened. Essentially, he would have to have verified that, okay, this child is a clone and he is a clone of Shen Wulong. Those are the conditions for that event to happen, given that Mukaku's father is probably a decently intelligent man who needs evidence in order to take the drastic action of betraying his friend. He probably needs evidence of that to actually do all of that. And so, because of that, we can deduce that, of course, Shen Wulong, the current connector, is indeed a clone. But Shen Wulong also confirmed it in this chapter just blatantly, that he is a clone. And as I suggested in my Understanding Shen Wulong theory, everything did change at that point. 85 years ago, basically, everything changed. And so, I think because of this, I have more confidence in my Nemesis theory now. But for a second, before I even talk about the Nemesis theory or along the lines of the Nemesis theory, I want to go a little bit into the Tiger connector, because Shen Wulong does talk about that for a bit and how he seems to be dormant, and Shen Wulong, at least he says, he has control. I don't believe him, mainly because of what happened with Joji. I am still backing the idea that the person who threatened Joji was the Tiger connector. The one who said, "What are you gonna do? Come at me?" It was him 100%. And so I think the Dragon connector, or the Tiger connector, sorry, can come out even at a limited capacity. But also, I might have to make a separate video for this because most people probably won't make it to this part of the review video. But this also means that, like Agito, if Shen Wulong is knocked unconscious, the Tiger connector could probably take over from that point. Recall the fight with Jurata and Agito. What happened in that fight, and one of the reasons I actually made fun of Agito losing, was that I said Jurata had beat Agito twice because he knocked him out and then his instincts took over his split personality and he had to knock him out again. And so that means that essentially we might get that for Shen Wulong in his current, in these upcoming fights. I think that will work as foreshadowing for what will happen in the future. But all this to say that I don't buy the Shen Wulong got this under control. No, I really don't. I think it's very conditional and that Shen Wulong is probably putting up a strong front when he says this. But I have been holding out for too long. I know there are a lot of Kure Raian fans out there. And I probably need to release a Kure Raian theory video. I think maybe I'll do that, a mini theory of sorts. Because I do have, or I think I've already done it before, where I talk about Raian's character and what it could mean for like end point or what could be its conclusion. But right now he's back. He's holding a giant katana seemingly, and he's back from the mountains and training. And so we'll get to see how much Kure Raian has improved. But I think it's very interesting that he targeted William first and not Gilbert. My guess is that William might have been the person that beat Kure Raian off screen. I think that's what really happened back then. And we know this mainly because there's a lot of evidence that suggests that William was indeed very powerful. And so I think that revelation of, okay, William actually beat Kure Raian way back then would again play into the same idea of William just being a very powerful subordinate, all things considered. However, we're going to get, it seems like, a fight that's happening, and it's probably going to be a very brutal one considering Kure Raian is involved. Now, what could happen at this point? Lately, the fights have been quite unexpected in terms of the events that happened. Like, again, we had the Team Kuroki versus Team Shen Wulong fight, which was unexpected and ended, of course, in an unexpected way. And then we had Nico versus Setsuna primarily, and that changed a few agendas, let me say that much. And so this fight, it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens in this fight. Whether Gilbert will get involved, whether who jumps in at this point, because I think it might follow around the same flow of events as the other fights. But man, what a chapter. Like, I have a lot to say about it. And of course, I'm going to make more theories fleshing out. Or maybe I actually won't make theories fleshing out at this point because I think I've done as much as I could have. I might actually end up focusing on other theories that deal with other characters. I don't know, it depends. If you've listened until this long, tell me what type of theories you actually want to see, and hey, if I have any theories on that, I will end up doing it. But yeah, that's it. That's the video. It was a good video, all things considered. It had a major surprise for me as it relates so much to my theory video. But yeah, the Tiger Connector is now confirmed. Watch my theory video. It is honestly, it's almost kind of frightening how on point I am at this point. So yeah, don't forget to like and sub, and until next time, who knows, maybe I'll drop another fire theory video that turns out I may as well be a spoiler channel at this point. But yeah, take it easy.